Hello, this is Admiral Alfultis. Captain McManus and I had hoped to meet in person with each class to present our plans for this summer sea term. However, our current COVID protocols do not allow for large indoor gatherings, and yet we wanted to get this information out to you as early as possible so you can begin your summer planning. We are planning to meet with each class as soon as our COVID protocols allow a return to large indoor gatherings. So today I'd like to discuss our plans for Summer Sea Term 2022. I'd like to start off with a discussion about why are we choosing to do a single 76-day cruise this summer. I'd like to remind all of you how we calculate your sea days to meet the Coast Guard sea day requirements for you to get your license and graduate. I'd like to discuss some of the challenges that we're facing this summer. And finally, discuss the things that I know that you want to know about, such as the schedule, our port visits, and what the cost will be for summer sea term. I'll end with a reminder to apply for scholarships. And so I'd like to remind you right now, before I even begin this presentation, that the window has opened to apply for summer sea term scholarships. I'd like to encourage all of you to submit your application for a summer sea term scholarship. We are here to help you. We're here to help provide financial assistance to you for summer sea term. So please get your application in so that you can be considered for one of these scholarships for the summer. So why are we choosing to do a single 76-day cruise this summer? As many as you know, in the past we've often done a dual cruise, either a dual 50-day cruise or last summer we did a dual 67-day cruise. So why this summer are we choosing to do a single cruise? Well, just a reminder, we had started to plan a transition from a dual cruise to a single cruise for as early as summer of 2020. And unfortunately, as you all know, that summer sea term was canceled due to COVID. So we'd like to return to this model of a single cruise versus a double cruise for several reasons. First, we believe it's important to provide a shared experience for all the licensed cadets. Rather than splitting the third class and the second class across two different cruises and splitting them up, we believe providing them with a shared experience of having all the cadets on board and providing them a shared experience will help them bond together as a class and provide a more consistent experience that they'll all share together. We also believe that will improve training. Again, by having a consistent experience, it will improve the training experience for everybody on board. Having a single cruise will provide greater flexibility for us. As many as you know, trying to go from the academic year right into a 100-day cruise, or last summer right into a 134-day cruise, really results in a very tight schedule. You literally go from the spring semester right into summer sea term, right in the fall semester, with absolutely no schedule flexibility. As you'll see in a minute when I review the schedule, a single cruise allows us greater flexibility with our academic year schedule. We also believe it will improve the quality of life for the crew, the faculty, and the cadets. Again, by not packing the year in, going from spring semester right into summer sea term, right into fall semester, and having a little bit of room for some time between the end of the spring semester and some time between the end of the summer sea term and start of fall semester. By providing these breaks and providing some time, it allows the crew, the faculty, and cadets a chance to just pause and catch their breath between the end of the spring semester and start of summer sea term, or between the end of summer sea term and the start of the fall semester. And we believe this will result in improved quality of life for everybody. By having everybody on board the ship at once, it will reduce the cost for our cadets. As you can imagine, if you only have 300 or 400 cadets on board and you're doing a dual cruise, it would be much more expensive than having 500 or 600 cadets on board. So it will result in lower costs for our students by maximizing the number of students on board the ship. And then finally, again, by having this schedule flexibility and going to a single cruise, it puts us in a better position if we need a ship share, if we need to borrow another ship from another state maritime academy. It also will allow us to reduce our reliance on import sea days. because you're all getting more days at sea every summer through this model. We're less reliant on you needing to get sea days in port. As many of you know, that's been difficult in the past when Empire State's been in dry dock or not available for deployment for hurricane response. It's been very difficult for our students to make up import sea days when the ship's not even at the pier. Finally, we are also making up for the loss of summer sea term 2020. So we couldn't do a dual 50-day cruise this summer because many of you still owe more days, more sea days to make up for the loss of summer sea term 2020. So we had to do a longer cruise again this summer to make up for the loss of summer sea term 2020. As I alluded to earlier, you'll see in a minute that the reduced enrollment in our license program is making it a point where doing a two-split cruise just becomes too cost prohibitive because you'll have too few cadets on either split cruises, and with too few cadets it becomes cost prohibitive. And then finally, we want to get some days in the bank. So by going to a single 76-day cruise this summer, it will provide us some more flexibility in 2023 for the underclass. Yes, we're getting a new training ship, and we're looking forward to getting a new training ship. But I think there will still continue to be some uncertainty as far as when the ship will actually be completed, when it will be delivered, when it will be available for summer sea term. So we thought it was important to do a longer single 76-day cruise this summer to get some more sea days in the bank, literally get them in the bank, to provide some more flexibility for next summer, depending on the availability of our new training ship that we're looking forward to receiving. So I hope that answers all your questions, or many of your questions on why are we going to a single 76-day cruise this summer. So just remind you, you all have to accumulate 360 sea days in order to graduate, get your license and graduate. So how do we go about doing that? How do we meet this 360-day Coast Guard requirement? So these activities are the ones that are approved by the Coast Guard for calculating sea days. First of all, obviously you can get underway on the training ship or on any State Maritime Academy training ship. And because you're in a training ship environment, every day you're underway actually counts for 1.5 sea days. You could also elect to go out on cadet commercial shipping. For the classes of 2022, 2023, and 2024, the Coast Guard has allowed a temporary accommodation, and it's allowing for every day you're on that commercial ship to actually be 1.25 sea days. This is again a COVID impact. It's a COVID accommodation to allow you to accumulate a few more sea days while you're in a commercial ship, again to make up for that lost summer sea term in 2020. For the class of 2025, you'll return to the Coast Guard is returning to 1 day on a commercial ship will be equal to 1 sea day. In addition to being underway either on our training ship or another State Maritime Academy training ship or on a commercial ship, you can also accumulate sea days while in port. We've awarded sea days for your participation in dock. We've had in the past a mug ship weekend where you accumulate sea days. You can work on the ship while it's in port. Ship work, that counts for sea days. Watch standing on the ship counts for import sea days as well. And then finally, when you're in upper class and you're completing the academic courses in labs, both your bridge resource management for the deck students and a number of your labs for the engineering students count as sea days, either as simulator days or workshop skill days. So having reviewed that, let's look at how each class is going to meet the 360-day sea day requirement. I know this table's a little busy. So you can see on the columns, it's both. First, one table is for deck, one table is for engine. The leftmost column is when did you enter Maritime College. The right column is your no-show graduation date or your no-show class that's based on when you entered Maritime College. Again, no-showing are your first class, second class, third class, or fourth class. I know some of you don't fit neatly into some of these rows, but I think you can figure out which one you're in. And then for some classes, the classes of 22, 23, and 24, when we did the 10-day in-dock and you're on the ship quite a bit during your in-dock, we actually counted that for 10 sea days. For last year's mugs, we did not count those days because you were not here very long and you were not on the ship that much. Then we have mug ship work weekend days, and again, this is pre-COVID. So for the class of 2022, you got 2 sea days for mug ship work weekends. For the other classes, because of COVID, we were unable to do the mug ship work weekends, so that's why that's 0. And then And then 510 is basically your first summer sea term. 520 is your second summer sea term. 530 is your third summer sea term. And you see, for when you sailed on Empire State, you can see the multiplier 1.5 days. For those who did commercial shipping for 520, obviously that would be day for day or 1.25 for the upper classes per day. And then finally, on the far right, again, you can see for the classes of 2022 and 2023, the Coast Guard allowed 30 additional days for bridge resource management, again, due to COVID and the cancellation of the summer 2022 sea term. For the underclasses, that returns to 30 days of credit for bridge resource management. For the engineers, you see you get 47 days for your labs. On the far right now, you can see your total sea days. What we highlighted is this summer sea term, that we're doing 76 days. And you see by doing 76 days, everyone but the first class engineers will meet their total sea day requirements. And you can see it's a good balance. Some have a few more days, some have a few less. You know, second class deck, you have far more sea days because of the additional 30 days you're getting for bridge resource management. But 76 days on balance is good for everybody. Engineers note you get basically 17 additional days because you have 47 days in lab instead of 30 days for bridge resource management. Or for the upper class engineers, you have 13 fewer days because you're getting 47 days for lab, where the class of 22 and 23 are getting 60 days for bridge resource management. But all in all, you can see 76 days is a good balance for all classes to meet that minimum 360 day sea days. And moving forward, if you look at the fourth class again, with the 76 days, and then you see next summer we're planning on a 70 to 75 day for following summers. It allows you to meet your 360 day sea time minimum without relying on any import days, and that's the kind of the goal here, is try to move away from relying on import days when the availability of Empire State affects whether you can actually get those days or not. So we're trying to move towards get your sea days by actually being underway and not relying too much on getting sea days by working on the ship while it's in port. I hope all of this helps. Okay, so some of the challenges we're facing this summer. First of all is enrollment. So this is our current projected enrollment. Again, 510 is for those doing the first summer sea term, 520 are those who are doing the second summer sea term, and 530 are those who are doing the third summer sea term. And you can see that we have about 700 cadets that we project will be enrolled in summer sea term this summer. And that's a difficult number because there's not enough cadets to support a split cruise, because you'd have too few cadets on each cruise, on each leg, or each A leg or B A cruise or B cruise. So you have not enough cadets to really be able to fund the operation of the ship and keep it affordable for everybody. But it's too many cadets, obviously, for a single cruise. So this is one of our challenges, is trying to find what to do with this situation. And a lot of this is unique because, again, of so many cadets, again, who are being delayed to graduation due to COVID, or behind in their summer sea term requirements due to COVID. So we believe this is a unique situation to this summer. Other challenges, of course, is cadet commercial shipping. We very much want as many of you as possible to be able to participate in this really valuable training experience. However, unfortunately, COVID has resulted in a significant reduction in available commercial berths. So as such, we are facing a situation this summer where we have more of you interested in cadet commercial shipping than we potentially have available commercial berths. So demand exceeds commercial capacity. Secondly, as many of you know are aware of, due to the incident involving the Kings Point cadet on a commercial vessel, there is quite a bit of work being put into ensuring a healthy and safe work environment while all of you are on board commercial vessels. So that's the second challenge we're facing, is putting together enhanced protocols and procedures to ensure a healthy and safe work environment while you're on board these commercial vessels. So how do we respond to these two challenges of the enrollment, our enrollment challenge, and the cadet commercial shipping challenge? First of all, we have put in place new processes and new protocols, if you will, enhanced processes and enhanced protocols for our cadet commercial shipping program, which we believe will provide for a healthy and safe working environment while you're on board these vessels. Second of all, we are looking at the need to have up to 175 second class cadets, i.e. those cadets who will be enrolled in 520, to either sail on a commercial vessel or sail on another state maritime academy training ship. The reason we're picking the second class, or those enrolled in 520, is because that group of cadets is the only group of cadets who are not required to complete assessments on board our training ship. It's this group of cadets that have the most flexibility in completing their sea day requirements, either on a commercial ship or on another state maritime academy training ship. So first of all, we like to do is absolutely maximize the number of cadets who are going to go out on commercial shipping. Our goal is getting out as many as 100, hopefully more than 100 on commercial shipping this summer. That's traditionally been our number. We traditionally are able to get about 100 cadets out on commercial shipping every summer. Again, one of our concerns is, will there be enough available commercial berths due to the impact of COVID? But our goal is, as 100 or more going on cadet commercial shipping. We will work for the remaining cadets that we need to have sail on another ship. We are working with MARAD and the other state maritime academies to identify, which ships are available, what their itineraries are, and how many available berths they might have on those ships. This is a very dynamic situation. It's literally changing week by week based on the other state maritime academy plans, the availability of their ships, and what MARAD might be planning to do as far as possibly chartering or activating other ships to provide enough berths for all of the cadets to get to sea this summer. So it's very dynamic, so please bear with us on this. It's something we're working on very hard, but it really is a dynamic situation. For those cadets that we do put on other training ships, we will provide Maritime College instructors and regimental officers to embark on those ships as well. And then finally, very important note, as part of MARAD's funding, when cadets go on other state maritime academy training ships, you only pay what you normally pay to go on Empire State. So there will be no additional cost to you to sail on another training ship. Transportation costs will be covered. Any additional cost above what you normally pay to go on Empire State will be covered through federal funding. So that's a very important note. So what's the schedule going to look like for this summer? So first of all, final exams will be the week of April 25 to 29. Our commencement right now is scheduled for the 6th of May. We will have a 3-week compressed summer session 1. This is to accommodate those cadets who may have failed a prerequisite for cruise, who needs to make up a prerequisite or doesn't have all the prerequisites for cruise for whatever reason, whether they failed it or they failed to take it. We'll offer compressed classes to allow you to make up prerequisites for cruise so that you will be able to participate in cruise should you be short a prerequisite. Pre-cruise, we're going to have 2 pre-cruises. The first one is we're going to bring back all the mugs on May 18th for the second 5 days of their in-dock. So all mugs will still be doing a 10-day in-dock, but your second 5 days will be before all the upper class reports. So mugs, police department reporting back to the school on May 18th in order to complete the second part of your in-dock, which will basically be ship familiarization in order to prepare you to get underway on the training ship when the ship departs. Upper class, you'll return on the 22nd of May for the start of pre-cruise. The ship will depart on May 27th, and again, it will be a single cruise. It'll return back to the college on the 2nd of August. Post-cruise will be the 3rd to the 5th of August. The Coast Guard license exam for those who are seeking to take the exam in August will be August 8th to the 12th. And then finally, we'll start the first day of classes on August 29th with a return to our normal 15-week schedule. So again, finally getting past COVID and returning more to a normal fall schedule. So I want to point out here again is that many cadets will have a break between the end of finals and the start of pre-cruise. Again, mugs, you'll have a break between the 29th of April and the 18th of May. The upper class, you'll have a break between the 29th of April and the 22nd of May. Again, very important if you just have that time between the end of the semester and the start of summer sea term. And then finally, notice you'll also similarly have a break for those that are not graduating. You have a break between the end of post-cruise and the start of fall classes. Even those cadets that are participating in indoc will have a break between the end of post-cruise and the start of indoc. So again, I think these breaks are very important for everyone's mental health, and I think everyone will be have a great experience this summer and have a great start of the fall semester by having these breaks that we wouldn't been able to add to the schedule. So again, this is just everything visually for those who are visual learners. The green is classes, again, seeing classes end the 22nd of April. The yellow is final exams, the 25th or 29th. Again, you can see that break that everybody's going to have. Again, MUGs, you'll return on the 18th of May. Upper class, you'll return on the 22nd of May for pre-cruise. Ship departs on the 27th. The blue colors are summer sea term. The yellow, the orange is post-cruise from the 3rd to the 5th of August. Again, Coast Guard license exam is in gray from the 8th to the 12th of August. And then finally, you can see classes will start on the 29th. So it gives you a visual of the flow of the summer, and also the visual of these breaks that all of you will be able to have to rest, recharge, and reinvigorate between the spring semester and summer sea term, and between summer sea term and the fall semester. So everyone's wondering about. So here's our schedule for port visits. Again, we'll be in Philadelphia June 10th to the 14th. We'll then sail across the Atlantic, and we're going to be in Porto, Portugal from the 26th to the 30th of June. And then finally, we'll be in Belfast, Ireland from July 14th to July 18th, with a return back to Fort Schuyler on August 2nd. Please note again, the plan today is the plan today. This is our current plan, but as always, this schedule and these port visits are always subject to change depending on the ship, depending on the availability in the individual ports. So just, again, this is the plan, so you can start to think about and start planning towards, but also be flexible should the schedule change. So when we start talking about summer sea term cost, we've looked at what on a 5-year average, or the past 5 years, how does the cost break down? I know many of you asked this when I pay for summer sea term, what determines that cost for summer sea term? So this gives you an idea of what determines your cost for summer sea term. 35% of the costs are personnel, 26% of the costs are for the food, 19% is the fuel, and then other expenses are about 20%. That's like port costs and other expenses for summer sea term. Well, what's important here to note, though, is I think you're all aware, you're seeing in the news all the time now about the increased costs that we're experiencing for food and gasoline. And you've seen that people are getting paid more now. You've seen all the news about people increased salaries. Well, that affects us too. So the costs for food, fuel, and personnel for summer sea term have all increased in both 2021 and 2022. And so that's important to note that these aren't fixed costs, that these costs are increasing. And we don't have a lot of flexibility here. We have a certain number of people we have to hire. There's so much fuel we have to buy. There's so much food we have to provide. And so we don't have a lot of flexibility in where can we cut back in order to accommodate the increase in these costs. So hopefully that sets the stage for this slide. These are estimated costs for summer sea term. These are estimated costs. They may change slightly, but it gives you an idea for what to plan towards. So for in-state, the total cost will be $12,537 in-state, in region $13,422, and out of region $15,015. And you can see down below the per day cost. The final cost will depend on what are our final estimates, especially for food and fuel. But I just want to give you an idea. This is right now the estimates to give you an idea where to plan towards. They may change. They may change slightly. They may change a lot. We're not really sure at this point, but I think these are pretty close. I think they're in the ballpark, and I think they serve as good planning numbers for all you to plan towards for summer sea term. And again, just one reminder for all of those who are concerned about cost, please apply for a summer sea term scholarship. As again, the scholarship applications open on January 11th. You will start registering for summer sea term and summer shore next week, January 31st. The applications for scholarships close on February 5th, so please apply prior to February 5th. The registration will close on February 11th, so please be sure to register for summer sea term or summer shore prior to February 11th. And then we'll begin our review of applications and start awarding summer sea term scholarships with the goal of having the summer sea term scholarships awarded in time that you'll see them in your bills when the bills are issued on April 6th to the 13th. So as a summary, we will be shifting to a single summer sea term cruise every summer. I do believe it will be the new norm. I think the lengths will vary between 65 and 75 days. So it may not be 75 days next summer, but I certainly think a single cruise rather than a dual cruise will be the new norm. Again, second class cadets are highly encouraged to apply for Cadet Commercial Shipping Program. Again, additional second class cadets may, and I want to emphasize this, may sail on alternative State Maritime Academy training ships for this summer. It's not a will, it's a may. Again, it's a very dynamic, depends on how many students we can get out of commercial shipping, how many students are unable to sail with us this summer because they don't have the prerequisites to sail. So there's a lot of, it's very dynamic again. I don't want to say we will have to send cadets out on State Maritime Academy training ships, but I just want to prepare some of you that we may have to do that in order to get the numbers on Empire State down to a reasonable number. Again, summer sea term costs have increased due to our longer cruise, and they've also increased due to inflation. I know these costs are a burden for many of you and your families. We are doing everything we can to keep the costs as much under control as possible. Again, I've given you some estimated costs so you can start planning accordingly. And finally, Captain McManus, I will meet with all of you sometime in February as soon as our COVID protocols allow us to have large in-person gatherings so that we can have more of an in-person conversation, dialogue with all of you about summer sea term. And a final reminder, please apply for summer sea term scholarships. So important that you do so to help you meet these costs for summer sea term. So don't forget, deadline's February 5th. Be sure to apply. I wish all of you the best of luck with this semester. I am hopeful that with the declining positivity rate in COVID, that we're going to be able to return to a much more normal kind of semester here soon, where we'll be able to have on-campus activities and things will return more to normal. But I do want to thank all of you for abiding by our mask mandates and all of our COVID protocols, testing. I want to thank those who are getting their booster shots. Those who are not getting your booster shots, please be sure to do so. Remember, it's a SUNY policy, a SUNY requirement. But I want to thank all of you for all your cooperation with our COVID protocols. Be patient with us, just I think a few more weeks to be able to return to a more normal spring semester. Again, I want to wish all of you the best of luck this spring semester, and I look forward to seeing Empire State this summer. Thank you.